Hi, Ashley. Thank you. I'm happy I'm on again, too. Ashley's mom is still in the hospital, so we need to send some prayers her way. I hope she's doing better, Ashley. Hi, Joy. I have questions that were sent in during the week, but I want to see. Hi, Jane. I want to see first if anybody that joins us tonight has any questions. Hi, Laura. Hi, Erin. Okay, I'm going to start with a question that was sent in during the week. It actually came from Barry Preston. Barry Preston is from Arizona, and he wanted to know if there was any real proof of reincarnation. And I always, when people ask me about proof of reincarnation, I always refer them to a movie. Jane Seymour played the person in the movie. It's a true story. The woman today, she actually lives in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and when she was pregnant with her second child, I think her one child was 17. She became pregnant again, surprise pregnancy, obviously, and she began through her pregnancy to have these visions of a previous life, and as it turned out, her mother dug out some old pictures that she had sketched when she was a child. And she talked about this place in Ireland that she remembered living in these visions she was having. And it seemed to fit the pictures that she was drawing on. So the mother pulled out a map of Ireland, and this Jane Seymour, her name in real life was is Mary Sutton, Sutton. And again, her story, her book is called Yesterday's Children, and they did make a really good movie on this. And to make a long story short, she wound up going with her son to this place in Ireland, and her children um, from her previous life were still alive. They were in their 90s, and she actually stood over her own grave, and when her children came to meet her, because they heard about her coming to Ireland and they wanted to meet her and see if this was possible to be real. And the one boy, the oldest boy, who she put in charge of the family, she asked him to stay in touch with his siblings and take care of them best he could. And she said, and we had that conversation. They lived on the water, in a rowboat right out there. And this is what I said to you, and this is what you said to me. And the man began to cry and said, yes, that's exactly right. Only my mother would have known that. So just through conversations she had with this son and the other siblings when they came, the other children when they came, validated it was real evidence that she did. In fact, it was really her that had reincarnated. And I know there's a show now on Netflix. I think it's called Surviving Death, and it's pretty good. Um, One of my good friends, Joseph Scheel, he's a spirit artist, and they profile him. I wish they had profiled him more because he really does an excellent job. He'll do a gallery and he'll connect with the spirit energy and he'll sketch the picture and he'll say, does anybody recognize this picture? And somebody will raise their hand and say, that's my son. I know I had him down here at um, a center, I think it was 2 years ago, and he sketched a picture of this young man. and the father had the picture with him and showed him. It was unbelievable. It was so identical to what his son in spirit, how he looked when he was in the living. But anyway, they did a very short profile on him. I really wish they had done more on him, because it was, his story is really amazing. But they didn't. They showed a lot of it is good. I didn't care for a certain part of it. I didn't care for the trance mediumship where this woman goes in the cabinet, which I have a cabinet here, which I use. It's basically just sensory deprivation. You just contain the energy, so that you're kind of shut off from the outside world, which is what you're supposed to do when you're in meditation and connecting with spirit. But sometimes, um, the world is just so noisy, and we just can't shut ourselves out. So the cabinet is a good thing for sensory deprivation and for that, to make you just hone in. And it's just it's actually a closed cabinet. There's a curtain in the front. The rest is all made of wood. My Uncle Richard made it for me, and it works great. You just sit in it, and your connections are stronger. So I don't use it for myself, but I teach other people how to use it and how to sit in it. So anyway, this woman sat in it, and she changed her voice and sounded like this little boy. And I didn't go for that. That was the only part I didn't care for. But the rest of it I thought was really good. And they do have a really nice um, ending part, all about reincarnation. So that was really good. That was really good. So it's called Surviving Death. It's on Netflix. I think there's 5 or 6 segments of it, and it's good. So you might want to tune into that and see what that's about. But if you're interested, again, the woman's name is Mary Sutton, and it's called Yesterday's Children. Really good. Anybody have any questions out there? I have like 4 or 5 more questions that were sent in to me, which I can do. It's quiet tonight. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Robin. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Grace. Hi, Diane. It's my sister. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Patty. Hi, Ashley. Let's see. Andrea. Hi, Mercedes. Hi, Grace. That was the name of the movie. Grace asked, what was the name of the movie with Jane Seymour? Yesterday's Children. Really, really good. Really, really good. Christina Elena wants to know, can spirit show up in a bright static red light? Saw a light in my room once. Anything you see like that, hi Nicole, anything you see like that is energy. It can come through in color. For me, red, like I tell my students right now, that's in my mediumship course class, I tell them to transfix every night after they meditate, which means if you find a spot on a wall, preferably a white or beige wall, you don't want to be distracted in any way. So whenever you transfix, or really whenever you're doing meditation, you want to be in a quiet room. You don't want to have kids running in and out. You don't want to have animals jumping on your lap or running around. You don't want to have a window where you can see trees moving or cars go by. You really want to be secluded in this room. Really want to be secluded. And when you transfix, for people who want to develop their third eye muscle, which, the third eye muscle, which helps us see, that's clairvoyant, then you want to stare at one section of the wall and don't divert your eyes. And I tell them to do this for 10 minutes after every meditation they do daily. And eventually you'll start to see color. You'll start to see maybe a hand, a face, but that helps strengthen that third eye muscle. So certainly they can show up. Now, bright red light for me is the root chakra. So that might be, your loved one saying to you, Christina, maybe you need to be rooted better. Maybe you need to meditate more. Your prayer life needs to be stronger. Maybe you're going through a difficult time, or maybe you're doing this work and connecting with your chakras. So there's so many different explanations for what different colors mean. But for me, the way I work with spirit is when they show me a color, it has to do with my energy center, one of my 7 main chakras. So, when you say a red light, that tells me that's spirit energy, and it has to do with the root chakra. So it wouldn't hurt you to go online. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube for the chakras. That's CHAKRAS. There's a wealth of information about all 7 chakras up there. And just for the heck of it, go on and read about the root chakra. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. But it's all energy. It's all energy. guided visual letter. Oh, Kendra asked, can you post the YouTube link to the guided visual meditation later on? I actually have, Kendra, 3 meditations CDs, and every time I'll always make, my son will make me 100, but then they're gone, before you know it. So I'm actually going to put my 3 meditations on YouTube. I'm going to do that. And I guess I should start doing my guided visual meditation that I do monthly. That's not a bad idea. I should do that there too. So thank you, Kendra. Lori says thoughts and prayers for Ashley. Her mom's in the hospital. So if everybody would send some prayers their way, that would be great. Loud buzzing noise. Gina wants to know, how about a loud buzzing noise in your ear? I suffer from tinnitus. So I can never, at night I sleep with the TV on. I can never be in the complete quiet because the buzzing is so loud. But when I'm meditating, it starts to get really, really loud. But then once the messages start to come in, and I'm clairvoyant, I see, and I'm clairaudient, I hear. Once the messages begin to come in, I don't notice the buzzing anymore. It's like gone, and it just comes in. But leading up to it, it gets really, really loud. Then all of a sudden, it starts to come in. So yeah, buzzing noise is energy to me. It especially when you're involved in this work, it's certainly energy. Vicky said that she woke up from a nap and happened to see something floating above her, traveling away from her. It appeared to be a ball and almost looked like thousands of bugs together in a ball. I slowly got up to follow it, and somehow it disappeared. Wonder if it was actually bugs or something spiritual. I don't believe it was bugs. It was probably, like I just explained, it was probably energy, just energy. And when the veil becomes thin for us, or our loved ones, want to make their presence known, or angels or guides or anyone from spirit, they'll give you different sights, different sensations. So you can see a color light, you can see it looks like fog. So and the left brain, Vicky, is always ready, willing, and able to wake up and make you think it could be. So maybe the left brain made you think it was bugs, but I believe it was just energy. It was just energy. Michelle asks, after a mediumship session, is it common to have people walk through your house for a few weeks? If I hope you're not talking about people in the living, that's not normal. But as far as a spirit, you have to learn how to shut down. I think when you do this work, Michelle, and you really connect it, which it sounds like you really are, we always have to remember that we're always in control. Always, we're never not in control. That's first and foremost. But we have to learn to shut down. So for me, when I'm done with my meditations and with my readings, and I do a lot of readings every week, I always remember to close my eyes. I thank God and Spirit first and foremost for helping me, with the reading and allowing me to be the messenger, the conduit of their information coming in. And then I sit down again, and then I close my eyes and I go through my chakras and I dim my chakras. I never close them completely. I always stay rooted. I never dim that chakra, and I never dim my crown chakra, the violet, to God and Spirit. I always stay open and connected to God and Spirit, and I always stay rooted to the earth through my root chakra. But the rest of my chakras I dim, with the intention that once I dim them and I'm done, I'm done. I'm done. Because we don't want to live between worlds. We want to. And for people like us, and it sounds like you do this like me, Michelle, you want to stay healthy, and you want to learn to separate and live your life. So I hope that answers your question. Gina and Kendra saying, Mercedes, thank you. Always my pleasure. Kim asks, can a loved one that has passed hear, feel, and see us? Yes, they have different emotions than us. So they don't have the emotions of worry or fear or pain or any of those emotions at all. But if there's a love or blood connection, if there's connection in any way with someone that passes, that cared for you and you cared for them, certainly they'll be able to step in whenever we need them to. They don't get upset if we're upset. They don't get angry if we're not speaking to siblings or whatever a situation is that, oh, we're afraid, oh, mommy. I often hear people say, oh, mommy must be rolling in her grave. Well, first of all, mommy isn't in the grave. She's living very happily on the other side. And mommy gets it, as all our loved ones do, that once we step into the world of spirit, into the next dimension, it's like a light bulb goes off, and we understand that that was our journey. We lived our journey. Now our loved ones have to live their journey. We don't have a right to impede on that. All we can do is step in and let them feel our love and bring the healing modality of peace and be around them. Okay, so they can certainly hear us, and they understand how we feel, and they can see us whenever we need them to. Whenever we need them to. Christina, I saw the light right after my dad passed, and then my husband blurted out, "Hey," in his sleep and sounded like him. Then the large light dissipated. Many people have told me it wasn't good, but I felt it was him. Thank you for that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't let anybody get into that left brain and make you think in any way that there's anything negative with the other side. There's nothing negative on the other side. No such thing as trap spirit, evil entity. I hate that word entity. It just doesn't exist. It's only love and light. So any visitors from the other side should always be welcome. For me, they're encouraged. I love them all. I acknowledge them as all, you know, we're all connected. Remember, first and foremost, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's the way this works. Okay, so we're just connecting soul to soul. That's all it is. And they work very hard to try to connect with us. So your father, Christina, was probably trying very hard to communicate with you, to bring you some peace, to let you know that's his way of saying, hey, I'm here and I'm fine. Jennifer writes that they had a great friend pass today. I'm so sorry for your loss, Jennifer. How long does it take for someone to begin to show signs to their loved ones? Instantly. They can show signs instantly, instantly. And the strongest way for them to communicate or show signs would be through electronics. That's the easiest way. So cell phones, I always say, were the greatest thing that ever happened to the world of spirit. They can turn them on, they can turn them off, they can, you can be talking about your loved one that passed to someone else, and all of a sudden you hear static in the phone, or you're cut off, or it sounds like you're in an echo chamber. Very easy for them to manipulate the cell phone, blinking lights, any type of electronics. Pennies and dimes, check the date. But for a passing, Jennifer, so new, I would say watch the electrical, because your friend will show herself or himself, whoever it was that passed. And again, I'm sorry for your loss. Hi, Kathleen. Tom writes, I had a dream one time where a transitioned loved one was standing in front of me. Her eyes were glowing blue, as if there were blue light inside her head shining out through her eyes. I spoke with her without actually speaking. Would you consider that a visitation? Absolutely. Absolutely. That was a true visitation. You remembered it when you woke up. I sense that's what you mean. If you remembered that as soon as you woke up, that was a true visitation. If you had a dream and you didn't remember the dream for hours later, then I would say it was just a dream, but it sounds to me like you had a true visitation. Absolutely. And for me, color always has meaning, always has meaning. Thank you, Cindy. Robin said her dad passed almost 37 years ago. Is his spirit still with me? It has been a long time since I felt him here with me. Oh, absolutely. What happens is when it's a new passing, and there's such grief, they stay around us a lot. They know we need them around them. They need to give us that healing peace and strength, which we can only receive from them. So certainly he was around you more then. But you can always set the intention. Everything in the metaphysical world is about intention. So you can set the intention, Robin, before you go to bed, that you would really love to have a visit from your dad, or you can go to your private meditation, like we teach in class, and set the intention that you would like your father to step forward and give you certain information that you want from him. Okay, so meditation is always a great way. Shelley said, I saw a rock skip across the floor. I went to look around, and more rocks were under the coffee table. A few weeks later, I figured out they came from a plant from my recently passed mother. The plant is in the living room. Rocks were in the planter. I have the rocks on my mantle. Absolutely. They don't have, remember, we don't have physical bodies on the other side. So they can't move furniture or slam doors, or, they can't pick up anything heavy, but small little things like that, I'm sure they would be able to manipulate. So sounds to me like your mom was just throwing some signs your way. Again, I take that all as a little hello from heaven. Do our loved ones attend their own funerals? Well, I will tell you that I don't, I don't, I have to be careful how I say this because one of my mentors said, I didn't say it properly before. I had said that I don't go to funerals because um, I'm a seer, so I'll often see the person in spirit, but I'm also a spiritualist minister, so I don't want people to think I don't I don't want to go, but it's a little harder for me to pull my emotions back. You know, most of my clientele are parents who have lost children, so I work very hard to pull the emotions back when I'm doing readings. And it took me a long time to learn how to do that because for me, I'm also a prophetic feeler. And what that means is if somebody sits in front of me and lost a child, feels like it's my child. Well, if I continue to feel that way, I can't do all the readings because it would wear me down. It wouldn't be good for me physically or emotionally. So, with the help of spirit guides, I've learned how to pull my emotions back with my readings. Okay. But when I go to funerals, because I'm a seer, it's a little harder for me. So I will say yes. You know, yes, I have been at funerals where a young man's body laid in the coffin, and the mother and father were greeting the people who were coming. And the young man in spirit, I saw him very clearly in my mind's eye with his arm draped around his dad, standing right next to him in spirit. So, you know, when I see that, it's a little harder for me to pull my emotions back. So, so yes, they do. Many do attend. They stay very close to us when we're suffering in any way. Okay, so somebody wrote in during the week and wanted to know what cartomancy feels or means. Cartomancy, I believe it's spelled Cartomancy. Cartomancy is doing a reading for someone on a regular deck of cards, okay, which used to be done a lot on regular cards. A lot of skepticism around that, but to me, you know, it all comes from spirit, whether it's angel cards, tarot cards, a regular deck of cards, whatever you're using in dealing with metaphysical. I call them security blankets. um, so I feel that if, you know, as long as it's coming from God and the spirit, unless it's coming from the psychic's left brain, which happens a lot, um, then you know, that's all it is. It's just a regular deck of cards, and it's all coming from God and spirit. But again, if you go to a reader, you want to make sure first and foremost that they're spiritual. They do everything in God's love and light, because there's a lot of charlatans out there, and most of them call themselves psychics. And secondly, that they are evidential. So they're able to bring in information from your past or something that's going on presently in your future that you can validate. It's all about evidence, all about evidence. And Adriana said, yes, she saw her grandmother at her own funeral. So, Adriana, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hi, Charlene. Nancy wants to know, Nancy has a little crystal. His name is Colin. He is unbelievable. She wants to know, and he certainly is a strong crystal. What the name of the book was, I mentioned regarding crystal children. I know the one book that I read the one time said, um, a guide for parents raising crystal children. I believe that was the title, but there's so many out there. The one that you would probably want to get connected to, Nancy, is I would say get in touch with Danielle Capelli. She's in California, but you can find her online, Danielle um, Capelli. And she does a lot of work with crystals and indigo, and she's got a wealth of information. So she would be the one you want to talk to. I can pass that phone number on to you if you can't find it. Vicki wants to know, do you do phone readings or do you only do in-person readings? I do phone, I don't do Skype anymore. I do Zoom. Most of my readings are online right now, and they're all on Zoom. It's the same thing. Energy is energy. So, you know, before I did Zoom, I did a lot of phone readings, you know, because I read in a lot of other countries. So I'll do a lot of phone readings. And for me, energy is energy. It doesn't matter if the person's standing in front of me. Um, or here in person. It really makes no difference. But Zoom, it's the same thing as being in person, you know. Okay, let me see. Somebody wanted to know what psychic damage is. Psychic damage, I think they were talking about, I had done a video on YouTube a while ago about psychic damage. And what I explained was I had somebody come to me, they had lost a child, and they were going to this psychic, and the psychic said, um, the psychic told her that she had to pay her in order to help her child evolve on the other side. And this woman so far had paid this psychic like $12,000. It was ridiculous. And I really get angry about things like that because it's just not true. Doesn't work that way. So that's what I call psychic damage. That's what I call the charlatans out there. You really don't want to waste your time with psychics just to find out about the future. I think the future should unfold in a natural manner. I think it's between you and God, and you can change your future by making the right decision or the wrong decision. Sometimes future is just about having some good common sense or talking to a loved one, a loved one here in the living sense, like or a close friend who and ask them, and they'll probably give you a lot better guidance than a psychic. Robin said, Robin said, I know spirits will not hurt us. How much do I? Ashley, if you go on griefmedium.com, I have all my pricing there. Robin said, I know spirits will not hurt us, that we are in control when a spirit visits. There are so many shows on TV about evil spirits. Can these evil spirits be the devil? No, no. I don't even say the word devil. I'll say it here now. The devil is negativity, okay? It's negativity, anything that's negative that you allow, but we have to allow it. That's free will. It's all by choice. We're responsible for the choices. We're responsible. We have free will. So you take somebody like, I had this conversation the other day with somebody about Hitler, and I explained how, we're all children, we're all brothers and sisters, and they said, and we're all loved by God, created by God. And this person said, so God loves Hitler now, like he loved like Mother Teresa. And I said, well, actually, yes, because the part that was bad with Hitler was his own doing, his physical body, the left brain, not the soul. The soul is always pure. The soul is always pure and always good. But he made a lot of bad decisions, and his army followed him. They all had choices. When he said to kill and do this to all these millions that were killed in the Holocaust, they all chose to listen. They had free will. So, it's all about free will. And is that the devil's work? Yes. That's allowing evil to come in. That's allowing that negativity. So I don't even acknowledge it by saying the name, the D name. I call it negativity, and it's all about choice. But God is in full control always, especially on the other side. Here he gives us free will. There, full control. So so I hope that answers your question. Charlene asked, regarding suicides, besides you and I went to another evidential medium. Besides you, she went to another evidential medium. She was good, but why does Jerry is Charlene's son, keep saying he's sorry if he already said he was sorry? I thought they already are done with that. Why does he keep apologizing? Well, maybe she looked you up. I don't know who you went to. I'm a skeptic myself. So, when you set up a reading with somebody, they can track your phone number. They can look up your last name. They can pull up one obituary and do 10 readings off one obituary. That's what the charlatans do. So I don't know how much information she had. Okay. But so that could be why he keeps saying he's sorry, because he's certainly in eternally in love and light now. That's for certain, because I know that from the reading I had with you, and I know from his energy, which is pulling in for me right now. Okay, so because this is the way it works for me, when I talk about it, they pull in. So he is certainly in eternal light. If she was credible, maybe she was just saying that so you would acknowledge it was him or recognize him. I really don't know, because Like I say, you've been there down that road. He's apologized to you before. So, as a credible medium, she shouldn't be hearing, I'm sorry again. Okay. And that's why evidence is so important. But like I say, I don't know whether she looked you up. I don't know. I don't know who it is you went to. So I hope that answers your question. But you don't have to worry about Jerry. He's fine. Living a very happy life on the other side. Alinda wants to know, does change of temperature, cold in the room mean anything of the spirit that came forward? Yes, it's funny. I explain to people when I do my readings, okay, no, let's explain it this way. If I'm doing a spirit circle, if I have a group of people here and we're doing a spirit circle, or a group of students here, and we sit in a circle and we call in spirit, okay, the room can become very cold or the room can become very warm. Now, I used to have in my old center a basket of blankets because it would get so cold when we did spirit circles or when readings, spirit would be stepping in for different exercises, that they'd wrap themselves in a blanket, and I'd put the heat up, the thermometer was in the room, or the thermostat rather, or it can get very cold. Now, that's not because it's cold or hot where they are. That's because the veil is getting thinner and we feel it. We feel the change because the veil is becoming thinner. Okay. So it really has nothing to do. It really has nothing to do with, I had a X out of something just came up. I don't know what it was. It has nothing to do with them being cold or hot. We'll feel the temperature change because the veil is becoming thinner for us. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. Ashley said, when getting readings, like someone said, things are always repeated. Yeah. Well, it depends on what's repeated. If they repeat the name, good. If they bring you evidence, but evidence, it has to be evidence. They would know a name. If they looked you up, they would know a name of someone who passed. And an obituary holds a wealth of information. I always say we live in a world, a very technological world. So we can go on the internet and you can type in one name and get a wealth of information there. Okay. An obituary holds names and dates, how the person passed, contribute to the Cancer Society, contribute to the Heart Association, or contribute to um, a dog rescue. Well, then the person was a lover of animals, and they'll say, "Oh, this person said he loved animals. Oh my God, you're so good." No, you're not so good. You just looked it up online. So I am a skeptic, and I like to teach people how to be skeptics. So it depends on what information comes in, Ashley. If it's evidential information that only you and your loved one in spirit would know, and it's repeated again, then that's okay. Then that's okay. That's a good thing because there's a lot of really good spiritual evidential mediums out there. I know because a lot of them studied under me and they are good. They are really good. So, and Nancy's one of them. Nancy McGrath is on there. She's one of them. So I hope that answers your question. Alinda wants to know, does spirit still have work to do on the other side, making amends, clearing up the damage they caused in life? What happens when we pass, Alinda, and this is what spirits told me from a child, is we have a life review. We're shown every positive thing we've done, and we're shown every negative thing that we've done. We have to then judge and forgive ourselves. Even God doesn't judge us. Okay, that's the life review. We have to judge and forgive ourselves, and we are responsible for what our words and actions did while we were here, the positive and the negative, and we have to learn to forgive ourselves for that. Okay. So that's all that is. Making amends, making amends is just forgiving yourself. And many will take the opportunity. I do many readings when someone will step in with an apology. Okay, many will step in with it, but it's more than just I'm sorry. It connects somehow. Um, and usually in a I did a reading one time. It was a while ago, and it was someone who had some abuse when she was a child, from another family member. And this person came in and she said, I really don't want to hear from that person. I said, well, you don't have to, and I can assure you he won't come around again, but he wants to apologize. And he mentions the age 7, 8, 9. She said, yes, those were the ages I was when this happened. I said, okay, so he wants to validate. And then he gave me a place and she understood the location. He gave me a date. She understood that. So he brought in evidence to prove he was. I said, this is his opportunity to tell you how profoundly sorry he is. He won't bother you again. It's up to you whether you want to forgive him or not, but I suggest you do. It's better for you. He has already forgiven himself, but he did feel what his words and actions did to hurt you, and he's again profoundly sorry for that. And that helped her, and that helped her. So I hope, Alinda, that answers your question. Do families stay together on the other side? Yes, I'm told they do. I'm told they live in family units. Those are the words they use. We live in family units. And it was funny because I had a woman come to me one time. She passed into spirit a few years ago, so it's okay if I tell this story. I'm not saying any names. But I said, oh, your husband. I was doing a reading in my Center in the Poconos. I said, oh, your husband stepped in. And she said, which one? And I said, well, how many did you have? She said, 5. And I got to tell you, I got a little nervous. I thought, geez, I wonder how they all died. But anyway, I said a name. She said, oh, that was my first husband. And I said, oh, really? I said, well, he steps in and this is what he says, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, which one will I be with? And I said, well, which one did you love the most? She said, I love them all. I said, then you'll be with them all. And if they had wives, they'll be with them. I said, it's not about, it's not about sex. We don't have physical bodies, so there's no sex on the other side. On a personal note, I'm very happy to hear that. My husband, not so much. But again, we don't have physical bodies. We look like we look. We're the same. Our personality is the soul, so we're the same as we are now. But we don't have the physical needs that we had here. But the love never ends, so the love is there. So it's all about love. It's all about love. So you could be with your loved ones, that you were blood connected to, friends, husbands, wives. It's all together. But they tell me they do live in family units. They tell me it's beautiful. They tell me the things they love to do here on the earth side, they're able to continue to do there. Avid readers will continue to read and educate. It just sounds to me, they described, not long ago, I had somebody ask me about this. They talked about how when we go to the other side, we have the ability to go back in time and relive some of the things of people that we saw, like maybe go back to when Jesus walked on the earth, or go back to when the temples were built, or a time in history that you would want to see, or want to see it, not relive it, but see it again. You have the ability to go back in time. And I think that's a beautiful thing to, there's many things in history that have happened that I would love to see. My one regret, I always tell, my good friends know this, a lot of my students know this. I have a regret. My biggest regret is that I never took the time to meet Mother Teresa. She's my great love, Mother Teresa. And it saddens me to think that she walked on the earth and I did at the same time, and I never took the chance or had the opportunity to meet her in person, because that's a person I truly, truly admire. I truly admire Mother Teresa. One person that I would wish I would have met was her. Um, so that's just for me on a personal note. So, Adriana, I hope that answers your question. And when children pass, they're always greeted with other family members, and family members that you knew that passed, as well as generational family members. I mean, children are so warmly greeted and loved and cared for on the other side when they step over. It's really, really a beautiful thing. Cindy said, I have never believed there's such a place as hell. I'm glad you brought that up, Cindy, because I just described about, the life review and what happens. I don't believe in the fires of hell that was taught to me in parochial school. I believe the fires of hell would have been easier for Hitler than fully comprehending what his words and actions did. I think that fires of hell are symbolic. I read my Bible. I believe that Jesus spoke very symbolically, and I believe hell is reliving the pain that you caused others, or the pain that you inflicted while you were here. So I believe that the fires of hell would be easier. So I'm with you, Cindy. Absolutely, Andrea. When we had our last phone conversation, Andrea wants to know, if Anthony, her son, steps in. He didn't step in tonight, I have to be honest. But when you and I had our last conversation, he stood right in front of me. Absolutely. Absolutely. They're always with us. They're always around. Linda wants to know, is there a hierarchy in the spirit world? The more spirits forgives themselves, they move to a higher level where they become an angel or guardian. No, we are human beings. This is the life we have. So when we pass into the world of spirit, we will be spirit energies. That's who we will be. Our soul is our personality. That's who we will be. There's different dimensions on the other side, I'm told by spirit. Like the angel realm is higher, the spirit guides are higher than we will be on the other side. The angel realm is higher, archangel is higher, it goes higher. I hear there's some people say, oh, there's 9 realms. Well, there might be many more than that. We really don't know. I really don't know for sure how many they are, but I know there are many. But as far as, it's nice that people say, oh, your baby passed, now she'll be an angel. No, she's not going to be an angel. She's a beautiful spirit energy that's going to continue to grow and live on the other side, have a beautiful, wonderful life. But angels are different. They are creation by God of a different hierarchy, like you said. So it's different. So there is a hierarchy in the spirit world. Yes, there is. Ashley said, love and light to you all. Good night. Good night, Ashley. Robin said, if you don't get along with a family member in life, what happens when you're both in spirit? All is forgiven. All is forgiven. You don't have those emotions on the other side. Andrea said there is a book called Survival of the Soul by an author last name is Williams. She is British and a medium. An awesome book about life review after death. It got me through my son's death. I haven't read that book, haven't heard about it, so I can't speak to it, but I trust you, Andrea. Survival of the Soul. The author's last name is Williams. Christine wants to know, does age change when kids transition to they stay the same age on the other side? No, they do not. If they pass under the age of 33, they will grow to be the age of 33. I don't know why 33. Many will say to me, oh, is that the Jesus connection you have? Well, they say that Jesus died at the age of 33. They also, we celebrate December 25th as Jesus's birth, but in reality, according to everything they truly know, scientifically, Jesus was born in the spring. So, the 33 could be coming through to me because of my Catholic connection, but I don't think so. Spirit has always told me that if a child passes in utero, a year old, 5 years old, 15 years old, continue to celebrate their birthday. And that's what I'll tell the parents that come to me. I always say to them, continue to celebrate, have a cake for them every year, sing happy birthday to them, because they will be there. They will be there. And hopefully they'll bring strong signs to show you that they're around. Okay, but they will continue to study and grow and evolve on the other side. Yes, they will. And if you're older than the age of 33, like my father-in-law was 97, he died actually on his 97th birthday. He quickly went back to the age of 33. And I used to say to Spirit when I was growing up, why the age of 33? Is it all downhill after 33? And they would smile and nod. And they said to me that the body stops developing at the age of 33. Body stops developing at the age of 33. So we begin the aging process after. So in other words, it's all downhill after 33. Okay, Andrea said the name of that author for that book she recommended is Lisa William. Thank you, Andrea. Okay, somebody wanted to know, when we call on our loved ones in spirit, are we disturbing them? No, we never disturb them. We never disturb them. And I know there's mediums out there that say, leave them alone. You're disturbing them. No, you're not disturbing them. They don't, they love us. That love connection never ends. They're very happy when we think of them. They will step in whenever we need them to. We are never disturbing them. That's not true. So Kim, I'm so sorry. Kim said my son passed in a horrific car accident with fire. Did he see his accident? Let me tell you what happens before. And I just did that. I just mentioned this not long ago. I don't know whether I mentioned it here or in a reading, because like I said, I do a lot of readings. Um, if someone, I think I did it on here. If someone, here's my pen and here's my mouse. Okay. Can you see my mouse? Okay. So here's the car. The car is driving, and the car now, this person in this car is getting ready to, he's going to pass away. He's going to be killed in this car accident. Here's his soul, goes out before. So the soul exits the body even before. So your son's soul was already out long before that car went on fire, before the accident. His soul was gone. He already stepped into the light. So don't worry about that. Every single one of us see before we pass, and most of us step out before the final breath. And when it comes to an accident like that, I know for a fact that's what happens. So your son was not in the car. His soul was already out. He felt nothing. He felt nothing. Thank you, Adriana. You're very welcome. Always my pleasure. See, Christina put, oh my God, when we dream of my dad, he's always younger, around his 30s. Yep. I never question spirit. And I'll say to people sometimes, I can be wrong because I'm human. I can be wrong, but they're never wrong. And I just tell you what they tell me. That's what I do. I don't tell long, flowery stories when I do my readings. I just bring in snippets or pieces of information. But if anybody has, my readings go on quite a while, and I'm told I should learn to shorten my readings, but it's not something I do, not something I care to do. I read as long as I feel I need to read and be with that person. Somebody wanted to know what was my hardest reading. I really can't say, well, hardest reading. I think for me, um, one that was very sad to me, and I actually stopped the reading, was a woman who lost, she had three children and her husband and two of her children died in the car she was in. The whole family was in the car, the three children. The husband was driving, she was in the passenger seat, and she said, Gloria, I never get tired, and for some reason I just nodded my head. Next thing I knew, I heard screeching brakes, and a box truck came and smashed into her car, and she saw her husband and two of her children right there. She saw it all happen. And when her husband stepped in, and then one child stepped in, the other child stepped in, and I started, I could feel it. I thought, oh my God, what did this woman go through? And I could tell it happened all at the same time. And she started to get really upset. So I stopped the reading, and I told her, I said, you're really not ready for reading. You're in too deep grief, and it had only happened a few months before. I said, you're not ready for a reading. So what I did was I invited her to come to my Wednesday night class, which I still run on here every Wednesday. I've done this for, oh God, over 20 years now. I did it on meetup.com. I still do it on meetup.com, but I also do it on Zoom now every Wednesday evening. And I talked her into coming to that on Wednesday evenings and just sitting. And I said, it's an opportunity for you to hear from your children, because we do exercises, and beginner, intermediate, and advanced mediums will come to these classes. And my hope was that she would be able to connect herself. So she should, because I could see the writing on the wall. This woman was just going to go from medium to medium to medium and spend all her money, blah, blah, blah. So needless to say, I didn't charge her, and she came for about a year to my meetups, and little by little I watched her change. The first time she laughed in class, she actually covered her mouth like she did something wrong, and I said, it's okay, it's okay to smile, it's okay to laugh again. It took a long time, but by the time I moved from that area to here, um, she was much better. She had lipstick on, and she's a beautiful woman. But it was such a loss. So I would say, if I had to say which one was the hardest, um, I guess that one was the most difficult, because I felt so sad for her. She had such loss. Um, Andrea said, that I can share this or not, so I will share it. Um, that book, Survival of the Soul. I don't know if someone on this call is needing to read this book more than others, but it got me through Anthony because Anthony was her son who passed away, because it was a different type of grief book. I talked about his life and where he was after death. So I strongly encourage it for someone who's on this call, who's, I guess, here tonight on Facebook Live. So Andrea is also a certified medium. She lives in South Carolina now. And we only recently hooked up again. I'm so thankful that we did. Um, but this book really, really helped her. And I think Andrea is feeling or receiving information that somebody who's on Facebook Live tonight, this would be a good book for them. And again, Andrea lost a son. Uh, so so I would encourage you to check into that book. Thank you, Andrea. Kendra said, my father passed 3 years ago. My brother just welcomed a baby girl. What signs can we look for from him to know that he's there? Watch the baby girl. Watch the baby girl, because I believe until the age of 2.5, the veil is almost non-existent for children under the age of 2.5. So they see spirit very clearly. So in other words, baby's laying in the crib, and you'll have 5 mobiles all around the baby, and the baby will be looking at a clear space or looking off. 2 people are standing here in the physical sense, but they're looking over here because they see. So watch the baby. Watch the baby. That's a good way to see. They'll show you when somebody's around. And that's when you can say to them, do you see, do you see, ask, do you see Uncle so-and-so? Do you see him? And, um, and that acknowledges to your brother that you're understanding that he's present, and you can thank him also that he's around the baby. So certainly, I'm sorry, your brother, it's your father that passed. So thank your father for stepping in. And explain this to your brother, that just to watch the baby, watch what the baby does. I say this with children under the age of 2.5 and also animals, because the veil is very thin. Animals see spirit like just like they're with them. Like I always explain that there's a veil between worlds, so it's not like you see on television. Nobody's ever going to be able to have a two-way conversation with spirit like I'm having with you right now, even though you can't talk back to me, you're texting. But when you are 2 people talking, it's, what they show you on TV is garbage. It's just not true. There's a veil between worlds. So every true medium has to learn to raise their soul vibration so the veil becomes a little thinner. And when that happens and you're a true medium, then you'll receive snippets or pieces of information, evidence to validate, because that's what really matters. Sometimes you'll go to a medium and they'll say, who do you want to connect with? How did she pass? What religion? Oh yeah. They'll see you're wearing a cross around your neck and they'll zoom in on that, so much. So you want to make sure that they're not going to tell you long, flowery stories. Don't give up any information. You should say yes or no. If the medium asks you to expand upon, sometimes I'll get people that'll come here, or I'll say, okay, I have a father energy that stepped in. Do you acknowledge that? Okay, do you understand the name Joseph? Like they're afraid to speak because people said, don't say anything. It helps to hear your voice. Okay. Just be careful not to give any information like names or dates, because sometimes, people that'll come and before they're even seated, they'll say, oh my God, I want so much to connect with my brother. And I'll say to them, well, you just told me your brother's in spirit. You just told me. I said, so please don't give me any more information. Okay. So I like people to understand that. I like people to understand that. Nikki, reincarnation, I explained earlier. I don't think you were on, so maybe you want to repeat this. I know it's all recorded, but I do believe in reincarnation for a higher purpose. Tonight I talked about a woman. The name of the book is Yesterday's Children. Her name is Mary Sutton. She lives today in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and she lived a previous life, and that was actually validated. So you might want to look up Yesterday's Children. I also believe in reincarnation for a higher purpose. I believe people who, the mentally and physically handicapped, I believe are our greatest teachers. I believe perhaps they chose this time, this body to be born into, because we don't learn anything in life through the good things that we go through. We learn our greatest lessons in life through the things that bring us to our needs. needs, our own suffering or someone else's. Okay, so I do believe in reincarnation, but I do not believe we come back as a male, then we're a female, then we're a dog, then we're a cat, now we're a male. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that. I think we can choose to come back for a higher purpose. And my personal belief is if we come back, we come back the same sex. If we're female, we're female. If we're male, we're male. But it's for a higher purpose. Hi, Aaron. Just wanted to say hello. Hello. How you can sign up for Wednesday night class, Alinda, you go to meetup.com and then you look for Voices by the Sea. Voices by the Sea, located in Brick, New Jersey. Okay, so it's meetup.com, Voices by the Sea. It's a mediumship development group. Hi, Wendy. Oh my goodness. Wendy and I worked together years ago at the bank. So good to hear from you, Wendy. I follow you on Facebook. You're still beautiful. Susan. Hi, Susan. Oh, Nikki wants to know what's moving in the background. Those are feathers. That's a feather. I have feathers all over my center. Maybe you can see more. Let me show you my center a little bit. That's where I sit and do my readings. So, but those are feathers, right? Let me see, right there. Those are feathers. No cats. I would love to have a cat, but my husband's allergic, so no cats. Not allowed. I shouldn't say I'm not allowed because if he tells me I can't have something, I go right out and get it. So that's the way this marriage works. Let me see. Yesterday's children's book recommended. You're welcome, Nikki. Okay, let me see. We have 4 minutes. Let me see. Somebody asked this already. How soon after someone passes can we communicate? Immediately. Immediately. No time. Somebody told me last week, I went to a reading. She said, oh, my mother died. My mother died 6 months ago, and the medium told me I had to wait 8 months before I said, 8 months? Where? I don't know where these people get these from, but no. Yeah. Remember, the soul is made of energy. Remember that the soul is our personality, encompasses our personality. So if we're a very strong personality, like I always say to my younger students, it's going to be really easy for you to communicate with me when I pass because I'm what you call an in-your-face personality. I'm a very strong personality. So it's going to be easy. So maybe somebody who's like got a very gentle, quiet personality, maybe you're not going to be, maybe you're not going to be strong enough, or they're not going to be strong enough in the sense that their energy is going to be strong enough. That's where spirit guides come in. So for me, I don't miss anything because if I have a very gentle soul, my one communicator guide will make sure I don't miss any information. That's great, Shelley. Shelley picks up feathers. Good. Another sign from spirit. Thank you, Vicky. You too. Wendy wants to know, do I think spirit can channel through your kids? I don't like the word channeling, Wendy. Again, I think when people channel spirits, they make it look like a spirit jumps into their body, that the spirit can control them. That's not true. That's not how it works. How we communicate with spirit is soul to soul communication. We have the spirit, the soul fills all of the physical body, but the part of communication is in the right side of the brain. That's soul to soul communication. So I don't believe that spirit has the ability nor the desire to jump into anybody's body. That's just not true. It's just not true. The way mediums work is it's up to them how they bring the information in. Now, I can certainly charge a lot more money if I want to call myself a trance medium. And I don't mean to criticize. I know some people, some friends of mine that do trance mediumship, and they do it very well, and they change their voice, and they it looks like the spirit comes into them. But all they're really doing is presenting the information the way they want it to, the way they want to. For me, I feel it's a little more dramatic, and I feel we have enough drama in our lives. I don't need any more. I don't think you need any more. So I don't care for the word channeling. Do I think kids can receive information from loved ones in spirit? Yes. If they say something that, the spirit, the loved one in spirit would usually say or talk about something that they would have talked about, Yes, and all they're doing is connecting soul to soul. That would tell me that your loved one is around that child. So I hope that answers your question, Wendy. Oops, sorry. Pill time. Nikki said, I knew my daughter was coming before she was born. I felt like I missed someone and I knew that person was coming, was my daughter. Her ex-husband had a vasectomy and it didn't work. Thank God it didn't work. Yep, you just knew it. That's your gut. That's your clairsentient. Christina wants to know, is it instant realization of everything or are they confused right after they transition? They instantly know. It's like a light bulb goes off and we become brilliant of mind and any question we ever had is answered and all our fears are gone and it's just instant. It's instant. There's no confusion. There's no fear. Nothing but beautiful, like you love it. Just beautiful. Shelley said her mantle holds the feather collection. That's great. I save my feathers too. It's amazing, Nikki. Okay, folks, so that's it for tonight. I'm going to call it a wrap. So I hope you all have a beautiful week. If you want to follow my YouTube, just type in Gloria Weichand on YouTube, and I have a year's worth of answered questions I put out there a few years ago. I also do a guided visual meditation the third Wednesday of each month. I do that here on my global community. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I do that on Zoom. I do that on Zoom. There's a $20 charge. So all you would do is sign up for it. I always announce it on my Facebook pages, but it's the third Wednesday of every month, and it'll be announced here too on my global community. And it gives you a link to go right to PayPal to submit your $20, and then you get another link with the ID number you'll need to meet me on Zoom. So that's the third Wednesday of each month, and I do the Facebook Live every Tuesday from 8 to 9, like I did tonight. But again, I don't do that the third Tuesday of the month when I do the meditation. I give myself a little break. I take a night off, which I need. And what else do I do? That's it. Right now, I just started my 18-month giving my 18-month evidential mediumship certification course. I'm going to be starting another one probably in 6 months because I already have a group of people that are interested, and it's too late for them to join this one. So I'll be starting another one if anybody's interested. But you can go to my website, griefmedium.org, okay, and find out any information about me and how to get in touch with me, okay? So thank you, everyone, for joining. Great questions tonight. You were all wonderful. I hope you all have a great week. Stay safe, stay warm. I hope you're all shoveled out if you live in the snow, and I hope you didn't have to be the shovelers, okay? So have a great week, and always I leave you in God's love and light. Good night.